Hi, everyone. My name is Tanya Hertz, and I'm the director of the Regional Entrepreneurship Center, the Rec Innovation Lab at San Diego Miramar College. And I'd like to thank our partners at this time and give a special thanks to SDSU's Lavin Center, the SDSU Zip Launchpad. We'd like to thank the California Entrepreneurship Educators Conference. Also like to thank Harness, the Brink SBDC at USD, San Diego Unified Schools. We'd also like to thank the School of Entrepreneurship and Technology, High Tech High, the Regional Advisory Committee, Alex Waters at the Jacobs Center, Connect All, 21IQ Labs, Startup Quest, Productified. I'd like to thank Course Key and Tech Coast Angels. Thank you to Village Up, City Heights Development Corporation, San Diego Angel Conference, Startup San Diego, SBDC, Score San Diego, We Are Kingdom, New Media Rights, San Diego Tech Hub, Origin 63, Ambrosio 15, OmniSync, Optima Office, Proven Recruiting, Craft Leadership, GSNL Consulting. Thank you to all of our partners. We couldn't do what we do without you. Thank you.
No, I just wanted to introduce our fantastic guests. I'm really excited for this builder profile workshop today. And so I'll just quickly introduce them. So we have Gaby Alvarez here. She's the Chief Learning Officer, AKA the CEO of her own company, GSNL Consulting. And we also have Gwen Franco here, who is the Global Talent Development Manager at Hyatt Hotels. And she's also an entrepreneur with her own brand known as Craft Leadership. Thank you guys for coming.
Hello, so excited to be here.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for spending your afternoon with us today on a fantastic, I was going to say sunny, but it's not that sunny today, but fantastic Wednesday. We are thrilled to be back and have a lot of information to share with you today. Know that it's like the tip of the iceberg of what we can share with you, but at least we will give us some seeds, food for thought on how to continue to be successful and be better at what we do.
Yes. And so, like, if you attended the program last time that Gaby and myself did together, we will be kind of doing a little back and forth and co-facilitating and having some conversation. But please know that throughout the program, if you have any questions, you can always unmute yourself and ask a question, or if you want to type it in the chat, you are always welcome to. So I'll hand it back over to Gaby, who's going to kick us off.
All right, and again, thank you for the rec, Tanya, Stephen, Angela, Max, everybody for your support. It's super easy to come and present with you all the time. You guys did heavy lifting for us. So thank you for having us. We're honored to be here.
We really appreciate it.
I want to make sure that you are seeing, like what I thought was like a building of rocks.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's what it looks like to us. Yep.
Okay, good. All right, so let's get the party started. This is Gwen and Gaby. We have known each other for not too long, actually, but it feels like forever. And we share a lot of common passions. One of them is learning and development and working with people and really helping individuals and organizations become better at what they do, bring their best talent forward, and continue to be happy and successful. So we engaged in these workshops together, and we not only learn from each other, but we have a lot of fun. So here we go. Take it away, Gwen.
Sure. Wonder if you could move to the next slide. Great. Okay. So we are going to start off, our theme, our word is really builder. So, but I need you to shift a little bit, right? And so I want you to think about when you are talking to people, a very common conversation starter. What's a common question that is asked? And anybody? I'm going to go ahead and we're a little bit pressed for time, and so we would have had a little more time for people to kind of share their responses. So we're going to advance a little bit faster just to make sure, but
what do you do?
We have time to, yes, what do you do? Exactly, right? So that's a very common question that people will ask you when they meet you, right? It's one of the first conversation starters. Another popular one is, where do you work, right? So those are usually what people ask when they want to get to know you. But we want to pose the question, we want to shift how you think about it. And the question that we want you to think about is, What are you building? So just from hearing that, you know, when we start talking about what are we building, the conversation shifts, because now we're talking about creating something. You get into a deeper level of conversation. So when you heard this question, and anybody you'd like to share, how did it make you to feel? Can you imagine somebody asking you that question?
Excited.
Max? Excited, okay. Max, I saw you unmute yourself.
Yeah, no, totally. I think it's just it's a great way to frame it differently in your mind, in the sense of when you ask someone what they do for work or what they do, it kind of puts them in a box. But you can build anything you want. You know, it doesn't necessarily mean you work for anyone or have a job. It doesn't have to do with the money at all. It's just, what are you building is a good way of framing that in your mind. So I like that a lot.
Yeah, great.
It feels entrepreneurial.
Great, very well
to me.
said.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I was just going to say
very
it feels entrepreneurial. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, right? So think about it. So somebody asked that. Think about, how would you talk about yourself? How would you talk about your company? When someone else, if they responded that question to you, how would you feel about their response and about their company, right? And so that's what we're really focused on today. We really want you to shift your mindset and how you think about things, because the future doesn't just happen, it has to be built. And it's going to be built by all of you. You are all builders, and that's what entrepreneurs are, builders. And that's what we want to share with you today in this program, in this workshop, this time we have together. And like Gaby said, it's just a little introduction about this philosophy, this mindset, this way of understanding yourself and helping you be a better builder. All right. So we're going to have another element to this, right? And so we're shifting our mindset. So there's another piece to this. So I invite you all, if you have a pen and paper around or anything, right? Or you can just imagine this activity if you can't do it, or you may be familiar with it, right? So I'm going to explain it. So with your dominant hand that you write with, you write your name 5 times. However it is that you do it, take a moment, go ahead, write your name if you want to do it 3 times, if you want to do it 5 times, whatever is available for you. Once you write your name and you're done with that, then you're going to take your pen, pencil, crayon, colored pencil, because that's what we have here, we're nice and colorful. You put it to your other hand, and the one that is non-dominant. Now I want you to write your name again. Well, Gaby, I see Gaby's doing it. I want you to now do it again. Write your name 5 times, and go ahead and try that. And so if anybody actually was able to do the activity, I would love to hear how that experience was for you, from going from your dominant hand to your non-dominant hand. So if anybody could share that.
It was hard for me to read my handwriting in both, I'm going to be honest.
David, that's fantastic.
I realized when I used my non-dominant hand that my hand wasn't even sure how to form the letters of my name. I had to think how to move the point of the pen to make the letter go the correct way.
Yeah, absolutely, right? So anyone else? Max, you unmuted yourself. Isabella, thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say it takes infinitely longer and it's a lot less legible, and I'm not entirely sure that I even wrote my name, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I would also say that the first feeling when I put the pen in my hand was like, oh no, kind of uncomfortable, because it was uncomfortable because I didn't know, like Isabella said, I didn't know how to hold it, like even my pen, how to write with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing, Taylor. So all of you expressed that, really shared what it is, right? So when we do something that we're good at, that we know how to do, it's easy, it's comfortable. You like go into autopilot, you don't really have to think about it, right? When you use your dominant hand, you just did it with ease, no stress and things like that. But the moment you moved it into somewhere where maybe you're not as talented, you're not as skilled, you don't have as much experience, you had that sense of, oh no, how's this going to happen? It took a lot longer. It took much more focus, a lot more effort. And you didn't probably end with a product that you were as proud of, right? That's kind of what we're looking at here in this entire program. We're going to talk about the importance of knowing what you're good at, of knowing your strengths, of knowing and leaning into those, and utilizing those, spending more time investing in that part, because that is going to help you be more successful. And if you read here, the key to success is to fully understand how to apply your greatest talents and strengths in your everyday life, right? And so this activity is just to give you a bit of an example of how that can happen in your day-to-day activities, in the different tasks and skills that you need for your business. So it's a matter of knowing yourself and then utilizing those strengths to make things much more successful and much easier. Now I hand it over to Gaby.
All right, so with all that, thank you so much for participating in the introduction. Our idea for today and how we want to spend our time is basically all of that to tell you we're going to be talking mainly about three things. First, an introduction to talents and strengths. What is this whole philosophy about? And then we're going to dive into the 3 builder roles and your actual builder talents. So hang on, because we have a lot prepared for you. And with that, we're going to move on to the next question that Gwen has for you.
Yes. So we have a poll here for everybody. So if you could please pay attention to the poll. Stephen will be launching that. And so this is the first question. And so we would like to know, do you get to do what you do best every day? So just think about that. Don't overthink it. Yes, you do. Sometimes I do, or nope, sure don't. So go ahead and take a second and respond.
We'll have this up for about like 20 more seconds, then I'll shut it down.
Perfect.
All right. All right. So think about it, everyone. You get to do what you do best every day. All right. Well, this is interesting. We have 35% of you who say, yes, you do. That's fantastic to hear. The dominant one there is sometimes. So we're at 60%, which is very interesting as well, right? To understand, what does that sometimes mean? And even within that, sometimes what dominates more, yes or no? And then we have 5% of you that say nope. Nope. So Gaby's going to discuss a little bit more about this and how that continues to tie into our conversation.
So we have a vast majority of us say sometimes. What if we were to tell you that Gallup, by the way, all of our presentation and what we're bringing to you today is based on Gallup research. I am a Gallup certified coach, and I work with their tools and their data almost every day. And I am one of the few lucky people that answered, yes, I get to do what I do best every day. Sometimes we don't even—
I answered yes too.
Yay! But you know what? Sometimes we don't even know what that is. What is it that I do best every day? So we wanted to ask you this because Gallup is basing research and says that if we were to tell you that if you did what you do best every day, research says that only 1 in 4 people can say, yes, I do that every day. And we kind of saw that in our poll. The next thing that I wanted to share with you is, if we focus on our strengths, this is also based on millions and millions of people who have demonstrated to use their talents at work and in life every day. People who focus on using their strengths are 3 times as likely to report having an excellent quality of life. And also they are 6 times as likely to be engaged in their job. So what all of this is telling us is, the more we know about ourselves, the more we know about what we're good at, the more we use our dominant hand, right? It's that, yeah, it's easy, it's beautiful, and we don't even have to think about it. So what if we could do that even in bigger things every day of our lives? Wait a minute. Okay, here we go. So our next question for you is, Gwen?
Yes, we have our next poll. Thank you so much, Stephen. So think about yourself, right? And think about right now what it is that you're doing with your startup, and what is it that you want to build? Of these 4 options, which one are you like, yeah, this is what I want to build. This is what I want. This is what speaks to me. This is what excites me. Go ahead and fill this out. Choose and then submit. We're going to give it a couple more seconds. All right, look at that. So we got 15%. You want to make a lot of money? I get it. I completely understand. 5% of you becomes a large business. Okay, 5% create lots of jobs. That might have been me. I don't know, Gabby, if you responded. I respond to that when I put creates lots of jobs, so I'm right there. But most of you, 75% of you want to build something that is new and innovative, which is really, really cool.
So the reason we have this poll here today, and we chose those 4 categories, they're not the only categories. It could be anything else. And it doesn't really matter what is it that you build. You might be building a small company, a micro company like mine, or a huge enterprise, or you might be building a charity, or you might even be building a brand new department within your organization. So it doesn't matter what it is. The reason we ask this poll is to show you that depending on what is it that you want to build, there might be different talents involved. So we started our conversation today talking about strengths and talents, and let me show you how it works. And again, this is just one example or several examples of what we need and how does this tie with talent. So for example, if your response was, I want to make a lot of money, here's what we can tell you. So Gallup has found that if that was one of the things that you want to do, builders or entrepreneurs would have these particular dominant talents of profitability, independence, delegation, selling, or risk are up to 5 times more likely to have a business with $1 million in revenue than other builders that might have another set of talents. And that's the link that we're trying to make with, do you get to do what you're best at every day? And how do you know? Hold on to that thought. Now, what about if I wanted to become a large business organization? Well, Gallup has found also that if anybody that has profitability, risk, confidence, relationship are up to 4 times more likely to plan and to grow their business significantly. Here's one more example. Well, what if I want to create a lot of jobs? Again, people with the talent of determination, confidence, independence, knowledge, delegate, relationship. You're starting to see a trend here. We're talking about these words. We'll go more into the detail of what they mean in a minute, but just to give you that idea of the link of all of the research, if we play to our strengths, if we play to our talents, great things can happen. So for example, here, the people with this set of talents are up to 3.5 more times likely to plan to increase their employee base by more than 5%. Is what I meant. And last but not least, somebody with a talent of disruptor, which probably the majority of you based on the poll, is 3 times more likely to file or receive a patent. So Gallup does this extensive research of what are the outcomes that people or building of talents, what are the outcomes that they achieve later in life or through the course of their successful enterprises. What are your thoughts so far about how we're linking talent with outcome? No thoughts yet?
You can type in the chat and mute yourself. Oh, I see Devin. Hi, Devin.
Hi, yeah. I actually chose the new and innovative, and it actually fits perfect because I find myself to be very disruptive.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So it's accurate.
Sweet. Excellent validation. All right. Now, I'm so happy that you said that. We also are, providing you with some more statistics in a minute. So fabulous. Now, how do we know what our talents are? Let's get into that, shall we? Unless there's any other questions or comments.
I just wanted to say it was very accurate from what from the background perspective.
Cool.
Great.
Sorry, I just bugged out if you asked me a question.
No, that's perfect.
I think we're good.
Yeah.
All right. So Donald Clifton, which is the founder of, well, some people attribute positive psychology to him. That's a little bit debatable, but we don't need to get into that. He developed that Gallup then made scientific and very, very popular. And he said, he started with this premise, well, what will happen in the world when we think about things that are right about people rather than focusing on what's wrong with them? So let's
I think that's a very, very powerful question.
Yeah, let's let that sink for a minute. What will happen? What would happen if we focus on what's right versus what's wrong? And that generated the whole idea of this, they call it, in Gallup, they call it, or we call it, the strengths revolution, right? Let's play to our strengths more and more to achieve happiness and success. So here I have the definition of talent by Gallup, or, you know, for the application of this workshop, we can have many interpretations of talent, but for our time together today, talent is defined as a naturally recurring pattern of thought, feeling, or behavior that can be productively applied. What does that mean? It means that something that's innate to you is the way you think, is the way you feel, is the way you behave. And what happens is sometimes we don't even notice, we don't even know about it until we intentionally focus on what is it that I do every day? How do I respond to things? How do I respond to people? What is constantly in my mind? So Gallup has developed different instruments to measure that and has come up with several ones. Today, we're going to be talking about the builder profile, known as BP10. I'll explain more about that in a minute. The idea is, what are these recurrent patterns of thought, feeling, and behavior that are constantly in your persona and drive your motivation, drive your influence, and really drive how you do things. So with that, I have a story here just to wrap up the strength. So how many of you, and I can't see your hands, but maybe Gwen or Stephen might see. How many of you are familiar with Tiger Woods? Yeah, okay. I mean, I don't
think we have some
most people are going to be.
All right. Yeah. Silly question, right? Silly question. So
it's a pretty safe assumption.
Exactly. So I was watching an interview, a Tiger Woods interview years ago, but the example is still relevant. And just to give you this introduction of what is it to play to our talent or to our strengths. So as many of us know, Tiger Woods is probably one of the best players, golf players in the world, and has been for many, many years. So in this interview, they were asking him, well, where do you spend most of your time preparing? Now, for those of you who are very familiar with golf, please correct me if I say this incorrectly. I am a little bit familiar with golf. All I know is there's within the game of golf, there's like 5 different skills that you can have, right? How you hit the ball. So your driving abilities, your pitching abilities, how do you get out of the sand, or how do you, kind of pitch the ball from the side of the green into the green, and then putting or short game, how do you actually hit the ball to get into the cup? So, and so on and so forth. So what I didn't know is that Tiger Woods is exceptionally good at 2 of these skills and not very good at a couple of them, interestingly enough. So they were asking him, well, I mean, the common knowledge was that he's typically good. Anybody want to guess in the audience what he's really, really, really good at? Or are we not connecting with this golf example?
Golf.
Golf, the overall game of golf. Yes. Now, within the game of golf, Tiger Woods is extremely, extremely good at driving. So how he hits the ball the first time, and putting, how he closes, right? How he gets the ball into the cup. Those 2 are his biggest strengths within the game of golf. What I didn't know is that he's really, really bad at getting out of the sand. So whenever his ball gets into the sand trap, he has a very hard time getting out and then completing his game. So going back to the interview, they were asking him, where do you spend most of your time training? It must be getting out of the sand. And Tiger Woods makes a face and he says, why would I spend more time getting out of the sand? He's like, no, on the contrary, I spend the majority, I practice getting out of the sand, but out of 8 hours of practice, I probably dedicate, I don't know, 2 hours of getting out of the sand. The rest of the time I dedicate to perfect what I am already good at. Because if I do that, if I achieve perfection in what I am already good at, then I might not even get in the sand. So I don't even have to worry about it. If I make every shot the perfect shot, I will be out of the sand. So it was like, it's about playing to my strengths. And I was just barely new into the Gallup work back then. And that story resonated with me because think about it. When something happens at work, when we're building something and something great happens, we celebrate and we try to reproduce it. But sometimes what we're trying to do is fix the things that are not going very well. So when I started my business, for example, I did not like selling, right? So I was very fortunate to have built enough relationships that drove my business. And when I actually had to be in a position to sell, I didn't like it and I was very uncomfortable. And I was trying to fix that all the time. Instead, I decided one day that what I wanted to do was what I'm more natural about. You're going to see that in a minute, which is building relationships and talking and sharing. And then through that, that drove some of the sales aspect of my work. So in conclusion, the idea of strengths-based talent is how do we do more of what we are already good at? And when we're building something, that becomes incredibly inspiring, exciting, and produces great results. So what are those talents, you might ask? Let's talk then into the meat and potatoes of the presentation. We promised you we're going to talk about what kind of builder are you. So let me introduce you the BP10 instrument. Again, it's developed by Gallup and it's called BP10 as a nickname. It's the Builder Profile 10. Why 10? Well, after years and years and years of research, observing builders and entrepreneurs that are extremely successful, Gallup narrowed down the pool of talents into 10 basic builder talents. 10 of them. So when you do the assessment, there's 10 talents that are going to be organized in specific, or in a specific order in terms of what comes more natural to you. So from dominant to less dominant, 1 to 10. The research also has said that if we focus on the top 4 talents, the first 4, those are the talents that if we capitalize on them or maximize their application, then chances are we're going to be successful. And it provides a lot of information on how we do business and why we do business. So again, the talent context in this conversation is that how we are wired will influence not only what we build, but also how we build it. What questions do you have for us?
Anybody?
I don't think there's any. I think we're okay.
I'm pretty eager to hear what the 10 builder talents are, if that's a question.
Yeah, I was going to say that would be my question as well. What are the talents?
There you go. So Devin and Steven, I would have paid you $5 to give me that cue because that is exactly the next slide. So what are the 10 talents that Gallup found that are critical to builder or building success? So here they are on the screen: confidence, delegator, determination. You'll see that the language that Gallup uses is interesting. Sometimes it sounds like an adjective. Sometimes it sounds like a noun. That is the name of the talent for some reason. So confidence, delegator, determination, disruptor, independence, knowledge. I guess I should say a little bit about each one, right? Okay, so confidence. What do you think confidence is? Well, you accurately, go ahead. Somebody was talking. Yes,
Yep.
Go ahead.
How strongly you believe in yourself.
You got it. Perfect. How accurately you know yourself and you understand others as well. So the talent of confidence. Delegator. What do you think that is?
It's like when you give tasks to people that are better than you, for instance, to achieve the goals that you have?
Absolutely. You have realized that you recognize that you can't do everything yourself, and then you use others, right? So you contemplate a shift in either your style or the tasks that you tackle. Absolutely. Determination. What do you think that is?
How strong is your central belief in something, or like how much effort you're willing to put into something to make it happen?
Absolutely. Perseverance. You got it. How about disruptor?
Is that like authentic dissent?
Yeah. Authentic dissent, a lot of creativity. Yeah, you take an idea and you not only have great ideas to begin with, you make them even better, right? Or greater or grander. Absolutely. How about where am I? Knowledge. Thank you.
Or did we miss independence?
I think we skipped independence.
Yeah.
How good you are by yourself.
How would you all are by yourself, but also you don't need guidance from anybody. You take a task and you do it, right? You don't necessarily need to be supervised on, or like
autonomy.
An idea, you run with it. Absolutely.
I was saying like a little bit like autonomy, like ability to okay.
Beautiful autonomy. You take whatever it is, the task at hand, and do whatever needs to be done to complete the task. Absolutely. How about knowledge?
Knowledge is just learned and retained proficiency in a subject.
Sure. Absolutely. It's a talent that drives a constant search for information, right? So you're naturally inclined to learn, to look for information. What is going to be better for your business? How about profitability?
I was gonna say how much how much value you give, like monetary value, but I don't think that's right.
Yeah,
the money. Yeah,
money.
Yeah.
You can find other things in every opportunity. You make decisions influenced by what is the monetary outcome that comes with that. And it's a talent. Not everybody is wired like that. Not everybody is always looking for that opportunity. You know, if I make this 10 times better, I will get X amount of money. It's not common for everybody. So yeah, you're right on the money, Stephen. It is about money. How about relationship?
How good it's like you're good at connecting with other people and maintaining those connections.
Yeah, you got it. You should be teaching this class, Steven. You possess high social awareness, ability to build relationships and connect with other, and also knowing and identifying what relationships are beneficial for your enterprise, right? For your business. Risk, we have two more. Risk.
Weighing the pros and cons of a situation and determining whether it's worth it or not.
Sure. Yes, that's one part of that. And what else? An additional layer to that is you also know how to manage high risk situations, right?
Oh, that makes sense.
You know what decision to make and when to make it and how much risk you can have. What is the impact of all of that? Absolutely. So manage high risk situations. Sometimes you seek the high risk situations, right? Your tolerance for that might be higher. And last but not least, selling. What do you think that is?
Is it related to profitability? How good you are at like pitching products or pitching ideas or anything like that?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, that for sure. And a combination of like you then become the best spokesperson for your business or for whatever it is that you believe. You believe in it so passionately that you're the best one to promote it. Absolutely. Selling, promoting, talking about the business all the time. Very good. So what do you think so far of these 10 talents?
I definitely didn't expect some of those to be the talents that are on there, like Disruptor. I wouldn't have expected that to be a talent, or like profitability. I thought that would be like an offshoot of another talent, but this is more in depth than I thought it would be.
Yay! All right, excellent. So here's a couple of notes as we talk about talents, and I know we're just giving you a little bit of an introduction to the world of talents, and but a couple of important notes. Number one, the talents then really become, once we discover what they are, in this particular case, we're using the instrument. We'll talk about whether you really need the instrument or not later, but this is one instrument that we work with that has really works really well for most of the companies that we work with. And then the idea is that then once you know them, self-awareness becomes one of the best steps, or the best, important steps in almost any building process. So once you know what they are, they kind of become the lens that we use to look at the world, really. Like once you know them, they even can become even more intentional about using them as the lens on how you make decisions, how you get motivated, how do you really build successful days for yourself and for others. And the other important note is talents by themselves might not, even though we talked about some of the statistics, talents by themselves might not be a predictor of success. We can't forget skills, knowledge, experience, external factors, market conditions. So they don't just live in isolation, but awareness of what we are good at, what we are naturally wired to do or to be really good at, becomes a critical element that if we add it to the mix of skills, knowledge, and experience, then it becomes an incredible combination for success. And with that, so again, each one of us has a unique combination of these 10 talents. Will appear in different order from one person to another. And then the combination of the talents leads into 3 important types of roles, types of builder that we can become, or that we actually naturally are already. Ready to know what those 3 are?
They're ready.
You're ready.
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Take it away, Gwen.
Okay, so these are the 3 roles, and what I want to share with these is that with the BP10, your talent profile may strongly align with one of these types of builders. Or when you read them, you may think, oh, I have attributes of all of them, which is perfectly fine. With each type, everybody has the capacity to build and grow a venture independently. But really what we want you to think about is knowing and understanding yourself. And then in building, when you're looking at building a teams made up of individuals who bring in different talents and different roles are the most successful. So we want to build strong, diverse teams with that. So Rainmaker, first one. So this one is money, 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 right? This is all about making money. And you are good at it. You are very good at doing that. You have, and you find opportunities to make money when others don't, and you're creative in that, right? And I love what it says here. You have a clear and aggressive growth strategy, right? And you measure success by profitability. So that's really important to you. You have such a way with people to persuade them and to make them excited about whatever it is that you're talking about and to come along with you. And you are very good at getting buy-in from others, to have them accept and understand and actually support your point of view, your company and such that you have. So that is a Rainmaker. Next one.
I just want to say Rainmaker is an amazing name for a role.
Thank you, Gallup. Thank you, right?
Yes.
Next one is Conductor. So Conductor, you have great management talent, really. So think of a conductor for an orchestra. This is what the person does. A conductor brings an orchestra together, can bring a group together to bring harmony to work through everything. So in harmony to the chaos of your young venture. So this is what a conductor does, right? You are focused on people. You're focused on building your people, and you take pride in connecting with people and building really, really good relationships. And in that, you trust others. You trust others and you see their strengths and you delegate accordingly. You're vulnerable and honest in what you can and cannot do. and you let people support you in order to get things done. And you use that really to help you build your business, to build your venture. All right. And last one, we have expert. So you are so focused on the product development and the research and the knowledge and the information. You want to be the best. And so that's where that comes in, being an expert, right? You really set the high bar for yourself. And like, in knowing your product so well, you also know where your product needs to go to, what is coming. So that's why you really focus on those breakthrough discoveries. When you invent something new or improve a product, you go through lots of iterations. So that makes me think a lot of, version 1, version 2, version 3. So it's always that idea of always getting better, of prototyping and improving, right? And your focus really focused on finding solutions. And you like to find new customers. So in finding new customers, you're looking for new markets. You're looking for ways to improve your product and such. So this person is really, like I said, really focused on what the deliverable is.
So the 3 roles, Gallup calls them the alpha roles. I'm not sure that I like the name alpha roles, but we'll go with it, right? So they call them these 3 roles. We each, based on the let me show you the next slide. Based on the combination of talent, we all have one of the 3 roles. And the idea is, as we grow our business or grow our enterprises, the idea is like, as we build our teams, make sure that we have this into mind, and we have a combination of the 3, right? So here's the example. This is my BP10 and Gwen's BP10. And as you see, we have some of the talents are similar, right? I mean, we have similar talents within ourselves. And interestingly enough, both that combination, which are 2 different combinations, gives the role of conductor. So if Gwen and I were in business together, it would be really interesting. And now we are a little bit in like a business together, although we are not in a money-making business together. If we were in business together, it would be an interesting combination to have. Number one, because we both have the role of conductor. We want to control things. We want to manage things. We want to see what's happening with the business operations overall. So we need to coordinate very well, number one, but we would be missing somebody that's the rainmaker, right? The one that brings in the business, the one that brings in the cool products, the expertise. So if we were going to build a team, we would be cognizant that there's different talents out there. Let's bring a diverse mix of talent that can give us the best results. That's the idea. Absolutely. And when you look here, Gaby and myself also, aside from having the same role, we have some similar talents there. And we have our top one that is the same, right? So think about that. We would spend all of our time just building relationships, just really focused on the relationship part, which is important to businesses, but you need the other part as well. So I think that also lends to a reason why Gaby and myself get along so well. But there's a difference between a friendship, a mentorship, and things like that. And then there's a difference with a business relationship. So that's what we have to understand, is the distinction and what's going to support in moving the business forward. What are those talents and roles that we need, which is distinct.
I have a question really quickly about the different roles. From teaching entrepreneurship for so long, I do see that I've noticed that Rainmaker does seem to be lacking in a lot of people. Do you see that in? Is there data that shows the portion of the population and with the different skill sets?
Yes, Gallup has some, it's very interesting. Gallup has, I can send it to you, Tanya. I don't have it right now in front of me, and I don't know it by heart, but there is a segmentation of not only the different roles, but also the different roles by geographical region and sometimes by gender too. And it's fascinating to see in different cultures, what are the different roles that are played the most. Rainmaker, for the most part, is one that's like middle of the road. We have a lot of conductors, a lot of experts, very little rainmakers. So when we look into that, then we look at the bunch of talents is how do we use it? How do we get that combination of talents in the enterprises that are keen to that, right? That are keen to the numbers. I'm looking for the opportunities. And what Gallup also proposes, and this is part of the work that we do, is so one thing is we take the assessment, we get all of this data. We know that we have this talent. Here are my top 4. This is my role. Now, what do I do with all of this information? So we are who we are, right? The result of the assessment. Sometimes we like it. I have had clients that say, no, I don't like it. This is not me. I need to take it again. And they take it again and it's the same, right? So it's not about whether we like it or not. It's like, how do we then use this information and use it for the best, right? For example, I know that my role is not Rainmaker and it's accurate to the point, right? It was, I told you from the beginning, even when I was little and we went, I was in school, math, money was not really my thing, but building relationships and doing the business operations. Oh my God. I mean, you give me a task and I can do it. So what happens here is I have found, for example, that when I use relationship and knowledge, and some of my ideas, like the top 3 and some of my ideas, and I engage in a business working opportunity by almost like as a serendipity coincidence, I start bringing in business. I start being the Rainmaker. So that might not be my role, my natural talent role, but because I can use the rest of my talents, I know my talents so well, now I maximize them, I can make the money come in, right?
Sure.
Again, no, the role itself will, it really becomes a lens on how to do things and where you probably are more comfortable and naturally inclined to do and naturally good at. But if you start learning more about each talent, you can see that you can intentionally then use those talents to get you into the role that you need to be or become at any given situation for your business.
I think that's so important to point out when I think about things like even personality. So I teach organizational behavior and psychology classes, and people think, well, personality is set. This is who I am. No, not true. We can affect and change, especially when we know we need to, but by slowly working at it. It doesn't happen overnight and maybe not drastic, but it definitely happens. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And the first step becomes self-awareness. And then now that I know it, what do I do? What's my intention, right? So as we learn about our innate talents and our motivations, then we can create meaning and we can create sustainable outcomes when we really use them to our advantage. Absolutely.
Yeah. So we have just a couple minutes left. We have just a few more slides with you. We won't have a lot of time for Q&A, but it's okay. We're almost done, everybody.
Well, we only have this one more slide, which is great. I mean, the idea is like, so what I do with this information, and the pathway that we usually do with this kind of information is, number 1, what's your goal, right? What is it that you want to build? And then go drill a little deeper into what is my defined goal for the quarter, for the week, for today even. And then see if you can use those innate talents. Once you know what they are, how can I use my talents today intentionally to achieve that goal? Of course, step number 3 is always tap into your network. Who do you know that has some of the other talents that can help you, that can support you, and stay accountable. Gwen has become like my accountability partner, right? So when I get stuck into, I don't know how to pitch this idea to my client, she comes and is like, okay, you got to do it, use your talents, etc. So find somebody that becomes your accountability partner. What else, Gwen?
No, I think that's it. I think you talked about this worksheet, how we could even share this worksheet as well if anybody wanted it to use it
yes,
to help guide them in action planning.
Absolutely.
And completing a goal.
So we know that most of you might not have taken this assessment specifically. So when I say no, use your innate talents, here's a little like activity that you can do for the next week. Well, we're going to talk about the assessment in a minute because the REC has a surprise for you, but the REC, Craft Leadership, and GSL Consulting together, we have a surprise for you. However, if you haven't taken this scientific assessment, for example, you can do one your own. Grab a piece of paper every day and figure out at the end of every day, what are 3 things that you loved doing that day that were incredibly satisfying, meaningful, that you were really, really good at? Start writing them down, 3 of them every day, every night. And then after a week, you're going to start seeing trends. Oh, I really love pitching the idea, or oh man, I love putting together a list of 10 new products for my company, or I love 50 different networking events. That might be what is it that you love doing every day? Because that can start giving you a trend of what might be your talents, and where you're more inclined to do what you do best every day. That's the idea with this presentation is, can we get to do what do we do best every day? What are we building? And with that, oops, wait.
Awesome. So do we have any questions from the audience? I see Devin raising his hand.
Oh, earlier when we were talking about the 10 builder talents, you mentioned that there was a top 4 that we wanted to really build. And that list, it was up, down, left, right. I was confused. Was the first 4 confidence, delegation, determination, and disruptor? Those are the 4 that we really build.
That is a great question, Devin. No, what happens is when you do the BP10 assessment, you're going to get all of the talents, all 10 talents in order, right? In order of dominance from 1 to 10. And then what you're going to see, and here, let me see if I can go back to, okay, so this is Gwen and my report. So see how we have 1, 2, 3, and 4?
Yeah.
So your report is going to give you the 10 in dominant order. The top 4 are your most dominant talents. So for me, the 4 dominant talents are relationship, delegation, confidence, and selling. I am a natural relationship builder. I am. I mean, I'm so much so that I have just been nominated to be the ICF president-elect for San Diego, for example, because I love networking. That's my natural ability. Delegator, if there's something that I'm not good at, or I don't like doing, I find somebody else to do it, no problem, right? Confidence and selling. So Gwen has a different mix, not too different from mine, but a different mix. And those are her top talents. So you wouldn't get the 4 top unless you had the actual assessment. Does that make sense?
Do you have
Okay.
question, Philippe?
Yeah, I have a question. So first, thank you for this presentation, great presentation. And when you say like about the builder profile, what is the relationship with a business culture, for instance, when you have lots of people with different like skills, abilities? So like, how can you build a business culture based on the builder profile from your coworkers, your employees, for instance?
Gaby, I don't know if I completely understood. I know that it was something about how to use the builder profile in building your business, but I'm not sure I captured all of it.
I think business culture is what he's trying to say.
Yeah, culture. Yeah.
I could talk about that for another 3 hours if we have the time. There's a lot that we can do to rising cultures in organization using the BP10 as a tool to understand dynamics, to understand the composite, like we do, like when I work with organizations, we usually do this with a team, and we're able to put like a grid together and decide and see what is the talent of the team and what are some additional elements that we might need to bring in, or elements that we have a lot of, and how do we channel that to achieve the goals that we have. So it provides the assessment. What it does, it provides information, right? It provides information on what is the composite of the team, what is the composite of the organization, and what can we create together. It's a very short answer to your question. It's a very deep question, but the nutshell is that we can do incredible things with this knowledge in organizations and in teams. We do that all the time. Great question.
Thank you. Thank you for your question. So we are over time, and Tanya, I know that we wanted to share some names. So if you were ready for that.
So yeah, so do you want to make the announcement of what these names are for?
Oh, yes. So the surprise that we have for you today, with the generosity of the Rec Innovation Lab, Craft Leadership, and GSL Consulting, we have drawn 10 names randomly, using a wheel of name thing online. And for those 10 lucky people, we're going to offer a link to take the BP10 assessment and to have a 30-minute coaching conversation with either Gwen or I. This is a value of around $500. So you are getting it for free today for those 10 lucky winners.
Yeah,
Yay.
I know. Thank you guys so much for helping to share the cost with the rec and paying for half of this. And I'm just really happy for you guys. So the winners are, we use this wheel thing, this random spinning wheel. Let me start by reading the list. So I have Sean Stoneley. Is that pronounced right? Stoneley? Then we have also Enzo Mendez, Jessica Thomas, Enrique Ariano, Catherine Ree, Max Drew, Jonathan McCormick, Devin Schultz, Isabella, and then the final one was I believe Grease Alves.
Yay!
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So,
oh my God, I'm so grateful. I'm stunned. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yay!
Yay!
We recognize
Very.
We recognize that there's a lot more people on the call, and what we wanted to do for you today is there's a link which I can post in the chat, I think, in a minute. I'm so confused with so many monitors over here. We are doing for the next month, for the next 30 days, we will extend the offer for $50, which is really a bargain compared to what the value of the assessment and the coaching session. For $50, whoever comes in from the rec and clicks on this link, you can schedule a 30-minute coaching brief, and those $50 will include the BP10 assessment as well.
Yes, so Gaby will put that link in the chat, but that is something also to offer.
And I was going to say, and then what about the people that won?
And then the people who won, what we'll do is we'll get everyone's email from Tanya. We'll get name and email from Tanya and crew. And then we will email you directly a separate link. So do not worry about this link. You will get a separate one if you won the raffle. This is simply I'm sorry, unfortunately you did not win, but we still have this offer for you. And for anybody who is part of the rec, who would like that, you get the assessment and a 30-minute coaching call.
And the way that we'll get your email to make sure that we have it, there's a survey that Stephen put in the chat. And once we get that, if you complete the survey, we should get the email that way. Is that how we get it? Or do we have it another way? Am I wrong? Angela?
Oh, no. Angela was just collecting emails from chat. I think that'd be the easiest. She's been collecting since earlier.
Okay, good.
Perfect. So,
see, they're on it. I knew it. I knew they would take care of it.
You guys are amazing. See, I told you at the beginning, I'll say it again. You're amazing. Just to clarify one more time, for the 10 winners, you have nothing else to do but wait from an email from either Gwen or myself, with a link to take the assessment and a calendar link to book your coaching session. So you don't do anything else.
Speaking of surveys, though, please take the surveys to provide the survey that I pasted in the chat to provide feedback for Gwen and Gaby. I'm sure they really appreciate it and will appreciate it as the rec too. Thank you.
Yes.
All right. So anything else we want to leave everybody with? If not, I'm gonna go ahead and close the session or stop the recording.
I will just go out and build the future.
Yes. Thank you so much. You are all builders. I'm so excited to see what's to come. And thank you so much. Always a pleasure to be with this community.
Thank you. And I can't wait to see what the results are from these people taking the surveys too. So bye everyone. We'll see you at the next one.